I am Alan Gerson. Some of you may know me as an international lawyer, as a person who served as counsel to the U.S. delegation to the UN and spent a lot of time there. And I have written in the past about obligations, which is the title of our conference today. The obligations of the UN, the obligations of the United States to avert a humanitarian crisis, which is a very euphemistic phrase. It's much more than a humanitarian crisis. It's about avoiding death, slaughter, and I say this as a former Justice Department official and State Department official. We are dedicated to the rule of law. It is the United States that instituted Nuremberg proceedings, which was the precursor of everything that we know about in terms of international criminal responsibility. And yet what we see today is an abdication from that responsibility, because the first requirement of the rule of law is the equal application of the law. And you cannot have the equal application unless you specify standards. And we have a situation in which the U.S. Court of Appeals has asked the State Department, chided the State Department, coaxed it in the gentlest terms to tell us what are the standards for keeping people on this list of terrorist organization, because the consequences are called hysteria. Not hysteria on the part of the people at Ashraf, but certainly hysteria on the part of the people that are there to ostensibly protect them, the government of Iraq. And that, I am ashamed to say, is what we have seen from the State Department. We have seen incredible passivity in light of the impending humanitarian disaster. We have good news now. Good news because it's a cloud of hope on the horizon, because the UN has chosen just recently, and we'll talk about this in our various panel discussions, to state unequivocally that the people of Ashraf are entitled to political asylum, and that they cannot be kept there, penned up the way the government of Iraq would like. Fortunately, the United Nations has seen fit to step in. But stepping in does not mean tiptoeing in. Stepping in means taking firm measures on the ground so that the people that are there are in fact protected, so that we are not talking about words, but we are talking about actions. Because the use of the word obligations, which is the title of our talk today, is a very important word. And obligations entail not simply things that are written in fancy prose, but the requirement that individuals take concrete action. So we're going to talk about today with our distinguished panelists about what are the obligations that are incumbent